The opinions expressed here are exclusively those of CG Sense. No brand affiliations, free products, or affiliate marketing are associated with this video.
For a week straight, I started off my day with 4 sprays of Millesime Imperial, 2 to the chest, 1 to each wrist. It's worth noting these Creed atomizers are pretty strong. Ooh. And this fragrance to me is absolutely incredible. I'm going to start it off with the opening. Like what I get the most is the ocean air and the fruit notes. And the fruit notes do smell like melon, and it's not hard to connect it, but I don't think it's like an instant connection. It's not like when I get hit with Millesime Imperial, I instantly think, oh, that smells like watermelon. I would think, oh, that smells like fruit. And if somebody asks, well, what fruit is it? I would have to think for a bit. And I think I would come back and say, you know what? It does smell like watermelon. Like, I think my brain would make that connection without reading notes online, but it's not like an instant photorealistic watermelon. With that, I get ocean air. Like if you're ever driving up to the ocean, you haven't been to the ocean in a while, as you get closer and closer, you start getting that smell of air, that ocean air kind of smell, and you're not nose blind to it yet. You're just kind of coming into it. That's how I describe the opening of this fragrance. Like it's that photorealistic ocean air with melon. That's just the initial spray, what I get instantly. Now, when the alcohol evaporates and I get into the first 30 minutes of this fragrance, what I would describe is, I think this is a masterpiece. I think it's so well blended, and all the parts that I'm about to describe to you kind of all form together and make one scent. But I spent a lot of time with this fragrance and really analyzing what I'm getting from each part of it. I definitely get that ocean air, like I said, up top for sure, and I get that melon. What I get in the heart of this, I definitely get the iris, but it's not floral. Like, I could tell the iris is there, making the scent smoother. Like, I don't know if you guys experienced that, where iris, it doesn't really smell so floral as much as it smells like it's just smoothing something out. The only other scent I could really think of that also uses iris in this way is, ironically, Green Irish Tweed by Creed. It just doesn't pop out as floral, but there's something in there making it smooth. And the way I would describe how iris is smoothing this out is it's almost turning it into like a dryer sheet. You know how like a dryer sheet's like a very soft, smooth sort of scent? That's kind of what the iris is turning this into. So one of the most dumbed down ways I could describe the scent of Millesime Imperial and what I get from it in the first 30 minutes is ocean dryer sheets. It's like ocean air, but in a way that's really softened. And with that, there's melon, and in the base, there's definitely ambergris. Now, in the first 30 minutes, the ambergris is definitely there. It's just not as present as it becomes later on in the lifespan of this fragrance. The way I describe the scent of ambergris and what I get from it is really damp ocean. Like being by the ocean, and it just rained, and it's a hot day, and you're getting that humid air. It's got that smell of humidity and dampness and depth to it. It kind of has like ambergris almost has a little bit of a darkness to it. Almost makes me think of an overcast day by the ocean, smelling that damp air. That's definitely in the base, making this more round and more masculine. So it's a lot of words to really just break down the scent and what I get in the first 30 minutes. Ocean dryer sheets with a hint of melon and a bit of dampness to it, or depth, or something that's just giving it heft. And the first 30 minutes of Millesime Imperial are my favorite parts of this fragrance. There's definitely a lot of scent evolution with this one. To me, this scent dramatically changes. So I enter 30 minutes to an hour and a half is when the transition really happens. It's just like one of those things that I start to notice it happening, and I always check my watch, and I'm like, oh, I put it on 30 minutes ago. And then I'm like, it definitely has happened. And then I look at my watch, I'm like, oh, it's been an hour and a half. So what is the transition? For me, the transition's where the melon and the iris kind of start fading out. And what I'm really getting left with is the ambergris and the aquatic notes. So it kind of just has this, almost it's fading from 30 minutes to an hour and a half. It's slowly fading, and what's fading is that the fruit notes, and what's fading is the dryer sheet kind of smell, and it's becoming much more like a damp, humid ocean smell. Now, between an hour and a half and 5 hours, that's when this just becomes more of an oceanic to me. Like, it really just smells like damp ocean, but in a way that's comforting and smooth, Definitely sitting very close to the skin in this stage. I would say borderline a skin scent, but I could definitely detect it on me between an hour and a half and 5 hours if I smell my wrist. And what I'm getting is just this really damp ocean smell. And it doesn't smell bad. It smells good to me. It actually is really comforting. Kind of brings back all these memories of the ocean. It's a really pleasant ocean smell, to me at least. Like very comforting and relaxing. But at the same time, it's not nearly as lively as it was in the first 30 minutes. It's not nearly as thought-provoking. There aren't as many layers. A lot of the layers kind of went away. And I'm kind of just left with damp ocean smell that sits close to the skin. So what are my thoughts on Millesime Imperial? There's a whole story to this, okay? But I'm going to let you guys know up front. This is a very soft fragrance. I really enjoy it a lot. Like I do. I especially revisiting it on that first spray in the first couple days, I was like, this is just such a masterpiece. Like whoever made this, I believe it was Pierre Bourdon, just the master perfumer. Like I can't emphasize, like when I communicate these parts to give you guys a picture of what it is I'm smelling, how smooth this stuff is. It's almost like butter. Like it's just so perfect. And it's very gentlemanly. And it just feels like it almost comes from another planet. Like it feels Pierre Bourdon really had a vision for something that nobody else had and executed it to absolute perfection. So it's one of these ones that just stimulates my inner fragrance nerd. Okay, that being said, I kept wearing this. And it's not that I got bored of it so much. What happened was it was like an emotion of boredom to some extent. And I know that's natural to happen whenever you wear the same fragrance for 7 days in a row. But I felt like the scent was actually changing. I felt like I was going nose blind to a lot of the parts of it. So I wasn't as able to appreciate the complexities and nuances of this the more I wore it. So it really started to feel like this isn't an everyday wear kind of fragrance, because the thing I appreciate about this are those nuances and complexities. Like, I feel like that's why as this scent evolves, those nuances and complexities kind of diminish, and I'm not as happy with it and between an hour and a half and 5 hours, because a lot of what I really like about it is gone. It's just so many details and everything's kind of dancing together. But unfortunately, after 3 days of wearing it, I started just going nose blind to those complexities to the point that as I sprayed this, I was kind of just getting iris and ambergris at a point. Like the melon and the ocean air that hit in the beginning just stopped hitting. And it wasn't just emotional boredom. I feel like the scent legitimately changes the more I wear it. So this is like an occasional thing to appreciate the art of it. It's also a very intimate scent, so it's one I would really wear for myself. This one really just doesn't push out. At the price range it's at, it's kind of pricey, but if you're one of those people that can just appreciate the complexities of something, the nuances, where it takes you, it could still be worth it for you. But for me, I just don't perceive this as an everyday wear. It's much more of something I would have a decant for occasional use, so I don't go nose blind to the best parts of it. It's something I'd wear as an intimate scent when running errands. I wouldn't really reach for this if I'm going to work for 8 hours. I tend to prefer scents that give a nice sillage for a good amount of time when I'm going to be out. But if I'm going to get groceries and I just want to put something on just to appreciate it and just to have a refreshing feel, or I'm going to the gym and I just want something nice, that's when I would reach for Millesime Imperial. So there's not like so many situations where I'd reach for this, not enough to justify a full bottle, especially at the price range it's at. And I know people in the comments are gonna be saying our Moth Milestone. I like our Moth Milestone by itself. I've worn it in the past, and I used to believe people when they said, oh, these are 95% the same and this one's just stronger. So for a long time, I kind of shoved Millesime Imperial under the rug. I would be wearing our Moth Milestone, and I'd go to the Creed boutique or go to Neiman Marcus and smell a Millesime Imperial, and just based off memory, I was like, oh, they smell the same. And like, why would I ever get this when I could just wear this? Also, I used to just put down the performance of this a lot. So I kind of just turned a blind eye to Millesime Imperial for a long time because I just trusted what everybody said on the internet. But I could tell you, side-by-siding these, they're very different. Now, I like our Moth Milestone in its own right. It's something I personally would wear, but side by side and Millesime Imperial, they're not 95% the same. I could tell a very big difference between these two. This one has almost like a sour offness to it and synthetic feel. It's not smooth. It's not nearly as well blended. It can be headache inducing. Like I could see somebody really can't stand this, but buys this. Like I feel like they're very different from each other. Yeah, I figured I'd bring that up because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of comments about Milestone. I just don't think it's an adequate substitute for the real deal on this one. So I kind of mentioned it in my review, but I'm going to say it again. The vibe of this is just so gentlemanly and so from another realm. Like there's really nothing like it. I feel like Pierre Baudin is a mastermind and he created something that just speaks to a gentleman. Like it's gentleman, but it's ocean. And that's one of the things I really love about this fragrance. Weak performance, sure. But comparison to other fragrances, like the one I could think of is Afternoon Swim, that's a very fun in the sun vibe, and you get that a lot with summer fragrances. But this one's just very classy, and I feel like you don't really find that pulled off this well very often. So it has this fun in the sun kind of vibe, being by the ocean, melon, soft ocean air. But it also has this really put together, relaxed, gentleman, more mature vibe to it. And I'm just with this one like 100%. It definitely speaks more to me than a lot of other freshies in the summer. It does give me images of like elegance, like being in an elegant situation by the ocean. It's not so much like a beach party or like a juvenile event. It's much more mature, grown, maybe being on like some fancy multi-million-dollar yacht with a bunch of more mature, wealthy people that are hanging out on the dock or whatever. Like this, what I'm just saying is this kind of has that summer fun in the sun vibe, kind of mixed with almost a borderline old money vibe, like a relaxed, laid back, fancy vibe. And it's just very elegant, and I just love where this scent takes me. Nothing else does it quite like Millésime Imperial.
Millésime Imperial. Okay, let's see what this is. First thought that comes to my mind is those glossy paper magazines, brand new, or when you open a book that comes with the plastic. The pages kind of have like a nice, clean paper scent to it. This kind of has that in the opening. But then under that is like a spicy, herbal magic moment. It smells really good. I think this would be more suitable for somebody, towards their 30s and up. I don't feel like this is a young scent. And this is a little bit more it's not heavy, but I personally wouldn't wear this like in the hottest day of summer. Works for every other moment of the year or occasion. If I meet you first time you smelling this, for some reason I would think you're like bougie. And you smell really good. It smells serious too. It's very nice. I'll give it a 10 as well.
Dry down.
The dry down seems to be more earthy, mossy, humid. Almost like that. For those of you who have had this experience, if you've been in the rainforest, there's the water going and the earth and, the the composition of the plants and everything going on in the rainforest. It kind of has that mixed in.